Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to go ahead and take some time to talk over a couple of things in Marvel Contest of Champions that I've learned playing in a year and a half, 2 years or so. Some things that I think might be pretty helpful to know. At least that there's definitely some things that I wish I would have known when I first started playing as compared to where I'm at now. Right. So the first thing is that whenever you're getting started, you do want to pay attention to your events that go on. Again, these are going to be solo events as well as alliance events once you are in an alliance that are going to help you hopefully progress. You're going to have one event that's every 22 hours and one event that's every 7 hours. The rewards aren't like groundbreaking or earth shaking, but they're going to be pretty helpful as you're going along here. And we just take a quick look to see. It's pretty easy to get some good stuff here. It does take some time. As you see on my current event, I'm not very far there, but you'll get some gold, you get some of these greater solo crystal shards, which will give you some helpful items. You got some ISO, the potions, which are going to be really good, so hoard those as much as you can, which is another thing you want to keep in mind is don't use them in too much content. Try to save them for much more difficult content as you go. You also get these tier 3 basic catalysts, which are going to be really helpful, especially for players who haven't ranked up, many 4 stars or even 3 stars for that matter as you're getting started. Those are going to be really helpful to kind of take you to the next level. I'm going to get more golds. These revives are fantastic. You also get these signature stones. You want to hang on to those and use those for some of your best champions. And then this is the tier I almost always shoot for, is that 4th one that gives you these level 2 health potions and 25 units. If nothing else, at least try to get those, because those units are going to be really helpful. And those level 2 potions, along with those revives, are going to really be able to help you out with clearing more difficult content as you go along. So that's a 22-hour event. The 7-hour event doesn't have quite as good rewards, and they're a little bit more challenging to get because of the time frame. You've got to kind of stack things up and work out your timing just right, to be honest with you. But there's a couple of good things. Again, there's more of these greater solo shards, but also these lesser solo shards. Some gold, some signature stones. And then if you can get to this 4th tier, which is really good, you get the 10% lesser attack boost, which is not too bad, right? You get some gold crystals, signature stones, more of those shards, which are really helpful. And your alliance events, right now they're doing a 1-day event, a 3-day event, and then your 7-day event, which is always going to be the summoner advancement. During times where alliance quests are active, you also have an alliance quest type of event. There's a completion and then like a brawl event or something that they're going to throw in with that as well. And here's some of the past ones that we've have completed. The 1-day events are going to range from meh rewards to pretty decent. To be honest, most of these are going to include at least 500 premium hero crystal shards. Some of them include up to 3,000, which can be really helpful for advancing players. And then you're also going to have these T1 and T2 basics, which at least you don't have to grind for those if you start stacking them up. I have pretty much zero use for them right now with where I'm at in the game, but not a lot of people are there. I'll still need those if I decide I want to rank up my 2 and 3 stars, though. So I'm hanging on to those, selling them if they start to pile up in the inventory, though. Get a little bit of gold, get a little bit of extra fragments for the next one. Right. We got the 3-day event, which are actually really good rewards right now. So first of all, they've got the peak milestone. So at the end of the event, whatever milestone you're at, you're going to get those rewards. And if you qualify for rank rewards, you'll also get some additional rewards as well. So Honestly, most people are probably going to be in this top 50%, or the top 80%, right? 150 or 100 4-star shards, which is really nice, especially for players who don't have any or many 4-stars yet. And then these 4-star Sig Stones, 3 of them, which are also very good. So the peak milestones, you're going to get, again, more 4-star shards, a little bit of 5-star shards, a T1 Alpha, and a fully formed Premium Hero Crystal shard, or Premium Hero Crystal, 25 units, and an energy refill. To be honest, when I first started playing, if I would have been given those rewards basically twice a week, like, I would have gone quite a bit further, quite a bit faster, especially with those T1 alphas when you're trying to rank up your first 4-star. And then those energy refills, just try to clear that additional content, right? Get through those story quests. So those are great rewards. Again, they're not very difficult. You can always click the how to get more points to figure out what that looks like. Then the weekly summoner advancement is also pretty good. Right, again, they use the same peak milestone type feature, so whatever milestone you reach is what you're going to get. And then the rank rewards, again, most average players are going to be somewhere in this top 30 to top 60%, which is pretty good. 100 to 125 5-star shards, 250 to 300 4-star shards, and then some extra gold. Right now, if you're in a great alliance, you're looking at quite a bit better rewards. Most people who are going to be in great alliances probably aren't going to be watching me for tips and tricks, because they already are so far advanced, they already know this information, or they've got people who are like in the know. But whatever, this might be useful to them even. So pay attention to those events. They're going to be able to help you out quite a bit. Then the other important thing is getting your mastery set up. I'm going to try to do a video a little bit later about doing a full mastery build, what I've got, why I've got it, and maybe even what changes I might make to it and how they can be beneficial, right? But there are a couple of things that you do want to try to get right away. It's really common for a lot of players to try to build out this strength and greater strength, which I really don't like how many points you can put into it, because Kabam kind of wants you to fill that up, and they don't really give any other help about why it might be useful to go beyond those. Because most new players are going to look at that and say, oh, I can increase the strength of all my champions by X number or X percentage, which seems great, but really it doesn't do a whole lot. So you want to try to get this build out where you can get that pierce open right away. I've got it already fully open, so I can't show you right now what the cost of it is, but it's going to be a couple of, I think like 3 stony cores, which each stony core costs 135 units. So save those units. Don't spend them on especially premium hero crystals. Get that unlocked as soon as you can, and then get into this lesser precision and lesser cruelty. Now, while you're building up those units, trying to get further stony cores to unlock some more of these masteries, go ahead and max those out, because you can always recover and always redo this later. But then once you're able to, go ahead and get that precision and get that cruelty fully maxed out. And you want to shift those points from the lesser precision and cruelty to the full ones, because they're going to do so much more for your damage. You'll see here that precision is going to increase the number of critical hits that you get. They use this point rating system, so it's going to add 425 points to each of your champions' base critical rating, or how often they'll get critical hits. That's quite a big jump here. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes about what you're going to see on a lot of champs. And then the cruelty, again, kind of the same thing. It's going to increase your critical hit output, so how much damage you do with each critical hit. And those are going to be the keys to kind of get open right away. And then for the defense, you want to try to unlock the salve and this recovery. They cost quite a bit more, and again, I can't remember. I'm going to try to do a full video where I go into a little bit more detail on that later. But you will be able to recover just a little bit of health with each with each second that passes. Right, and so the benefit of that is, even though it's not a lot of health that you're going to recover, you're going to get, if you max both of those out, you're going to get 5 per tick, right? So it's going to give you 4 health twice per second for 60 seconds. So base is 8 health every second, right? And where I get the 5 from is this recovery is going to increase all of your health gains by 15%. So it rounds it up to 5 twice per second. That's going to be really helpful. There's some other masters that are going to be somewhat helpful as you're going along, but maybe not quite so helpful as you're later in the game. And then the proficiencies, the big one everybody needs to get as soon as possible is parry and dexterity. Kabam is changing up what it costs to unlock the parry, so keep that in mind when you're going through that. But that's going to allow you to time your blocks right and stun the opponents so you can start attacking them. There's some other proficiencies here that are useful, some that are not, you don't want to spend any time in, but get that limber, get that parry unlocked and max out as soon as you can. And then also this dexterity, you want to try to get at least 1 point in dexterity. That's going to allow you to evade attacks, specifically projectile attacks, right? So you don't have to take any block damage. And then it'll also increase the critical rating on your next hit or 2. If you max it out, you might even be able to get like 3 hits. The timer goes really fast. Here I've got 2 points, and it increases the critical rating by 600 for less than half a second. So you don't have much time. It's maybe 2 hits if you're lucky, if you time it just right. Right, but I don't use it for the critical rating. I use it to evade attacks, specifically projectiles. Right, so pay attention to your masteries, and there's some great tools out there that are going to help you out, and some other YouTubers that have really helped me to get to where I'm at that you want to check out as you go along, and they go to a much better job of kind of going into why they choose their mastery setup. So yeah, check some of those out. Prof Huff and Brian Grant, contest champion, are 2 of the guys that I've found to be really helpful in that. Yeah, so then the next thing that I would recommend doing is every day you want to try to go into your event quests, and especially while you're still building up your oh my goodness, what are those things called? I totally blew it. These guys. Right, you're building up your catalyst. There we go. Your basics, and then your class. Every day is a new class. It's going to be mutant, skill, science, mystic, cosmic, tech, in that order, Monday through Saturday. And then on Sunday they do a Grandmaster's quest where it gives you a pitiful amount of fragments from completing those quests for all 6 classes. But especially while you're still building up and getting your roster growing, those are going to be really useful to do every day. Right, and then you'll also want to go to your monthly events, and depending on kind of what your skill level is and what champions you have, you want to do at the very least the beginner and the normal. Try to get those 100% as soon as you can, and then move on up to heroic. That's going to really help you advance. It'll give you a fully formed 3-star, some 4-star shards, a little bit of 5-star shards by fully completing it, and some premium hero crystal shards and fully formed premium hero crystals. Right, so you can get some pretty good rewards there, and then move up to master when you can. Right, based on where you're at, it is going to depend on how far you can actually go. Right, so maybe you can do that pretty quickly. Maybe you can't. It all just depends, really. I'll be honest, it'll take some time for new players, but once you feel like you can 100% clear the story mode Act 3, then you should be able to do Master 100%. You'll also see this uncollected here. You have to actually be uncollected to be able to access this one, which means you have to be at least level 40, and you have to have beaten the collector at least one time, which is really tough. He's not easy, but as you progress, you get some skills down, you get going, and you're going to be able to clear that out here. And let me actually go ahead and exit out of this quest. I hadn't even started it really yet. So to beat the collector, you have to go through, you don't have to 100% complete Act 1, 2, 3, or 4. Right? I've done that all. I did that all before I went into Act 5 because I wanted to make sure I was prepared. I wasn't really feeling confident enough, and I didn't really feel like I had the chance to go into there. But then once I did, it has been a big game changer. Right? So you want to try to get to uncollected as soon as you can, but again, make sure that you can complete each of those 100% and move up through the monthly quests as well. So to get uncollected, you've got to beat the collector at least one time by going through this. Right, so it's going to be Act 5, Chapter 2, Part 6. Right, so you've got to fully clear that. Seaton, Man of Legends, does a great job of helping you to become uncollected and going through a really good guide of how to get there and what that looks like. Check it out. He was really helpful for me. So, yeah, there's plenty of other guys and gals out there that do a good job of helping you to get to that part where you can become uncollected. I'm probably not that guy at this point in time. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get there where I feel confident I can do it, but I'm not going to try to tell you how to become uncollected. I'm just going to tell you to do it and check out other people who have. This game requires a lot of time to advance and to get good. Right, so balance your life. Make sure you're not spending too much time or more time than you want to. Right. So try to keep that balanced, but there's so much to do. Here I am looking at the arenas that you can do. I do recommend trying to get those arenas going, especially when you do first start your account. You're going to be put into a beginners and intermediate bracket for the first 30 and 90 days, I think, something like that. And it's going to be strictly for new players within that beginning time frame. So you're not going up against people who've been playing the game for a long time as far as like facing certain champions within these types of arenas. And you're also not going to be competing with people who are experienced with huge rosters that can just rack up points to get the rewards, right? So it's going to be a lot easier for you to get a hero from, or a champion, I should say, from these arenas. Right now, most new players are not going to have the requirements to go into this. The first one you see here is the 5-star featured arena. You need 4, 5, and 6-star champions to be able to compete there. But you want to do that 1 and 2-star champions. Most people starting out are going to be there. 2 and 3 stars, you can earn a 3-star featured champion of that week, or your basic 4-star. You can get that basic 4-star. You do need 3 and 4-star champions to be able to do that, but the point requirement for it is going to be a lot less. So, for example, this Domino here that's running right now in the normal pool, it's estimated that it's going to take you about 4.5 million points in the arena to be able to get Domino, who's a fantastic champion. And even for like really crappy champions, like they ran Hulkbuster recently, you're still looking at like 1.7 million points. Unless you spend a lot of time, we've got a pretty deep pool of champions. You're going to be hard pressed to get there, especially for newer players. But for that beginners and intermediate bracket, it only takes like 1 million or so points to be able to get that featured champion. Right, so try to take advantage of that as you can, and build up and try to get into there, because you can get some pretty good rewards by getting in high brackets here. You'll see some 5-star shards, 4-star shards, and then arena boost crystals, which help you get a few more points, right? So try to do some arenas, get some crystals, get some of these battle chips, get some gold. It's all going to help you out, right? The battle chips you can buy to get 3 or 4-star traditional Punisher, not this 2099 version that they have here. You also get some gold and some units, and they can all help you out quite a bit as you're going along. So yeah, keep that in mind. You want to use those. You can get some pretty good stuff to help you move up and get what you need for advancing in the game. Even once you're past that intermediate bracket, right, you're in the normal pool, I guess. I don't know what they actually call it, if they call it advanced or not, but it doesn't matter. Either way, still try to do some of those. I usually try to put about 2 to 3 million points in this 5-star arena every time, and it's going to get me some units, about 40 units, some battle chips, 6,000 there, quite a bit of gold there. Oh, I forgot about this little guy. So yeah, 45,000. There's some premium hero shards to be had, these fully formed premium hero crystal shards, and then these greater arena boosts, and that all helps me out. Again, it might take newer players quite a while to get there, but I do that every week. So then that way, at least every week, I am getting anywhere between 2 to 500 5-star hero shards. Right, that's gonna move along. Now, if you have a deep roster and you have the time, I have the roster, I just don't have the time or the desire to do it. If you can get even in this top 30%, you're going to start getting those 6-star shards. And that's a big jump even of 5-star shards. You're doubling the number that you get. Just to put it into context, right? If I got the top 30% every week of this 5-star featured arena, this runs twice a week, right? I'd get 2,000 shards every week. That means that it's only going to take 5 weeks to get a fully formed 5-star hero. That assumes I do nothing else in the game that's going to give me additional 5-star shards. It's going to take, obviously, twice as long if I only do the top 60%. And then even longer if I only do the 100%. But there's still extra 5-star shards on top of what I get from other events and stuff in the game. Right, so some pretty good stuff there. So do the arenas as you can, but just know that they're going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. And again, I'm going to try to do a video that will discuss how I get to an infinite streak to continue racking up those points in each of these arenas. Right, that'll be coming out at a later date. Dungeons, I feel like that's just a whole nother topic to go over. Some people love them, some people hate them, some people are meh. I'm more, if I have time, if somebody asks me to, I'll do it. I don't really care for them all that much, to be honest, though. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail there, but there are some good rewards that you can get. There's some gold. There's going to be these artifacts you can get, these little blue things here, and they're going to allow you to purchase crystals. They're like featured champion crystals. And then depending on what tier you're in, based on the number of 5-stars you own, 3, 4, and 5 stars, that is, you're going to be able to get some of these catalyst fragments, right? And so anywhere between the tier 1 to the tier 4 is going to be pretty useful. I just don't have the time or the desire really to spend a lot of time there. Moving on. So in an alliance, if you're in an active alliance, which you need to be, and I'm really thankful for the alliance I have. We have a great thing going, to be honest. Shout out to Adeline Rising. Hey guys, you want to try to get into wars, alliance wars when they're available, and get into these alliance quests when they're available. So the alliance wars, they're really challenging the further you move up, but we're in a silver 1. which works out really well for us. It doesn't take a lot of time. We don't fret about it too much. We don't worry about it, but we do get some good rewards. When we win, we get about almost 400 4-star shards and almost 600 or a little over 600 3-star shards, and then these other crystals, and then these loyalty to spend, which is nice, but we don't have to spend a ton of time. It's not too stressful. We don't spend any units on it, really. Some of these guys in these really top alliances are going to spend thousands of units a week, from what I've heard. Even in some of the lower brackets, like the platinum and the gold, below these masters, they're still spending a lot of units, are really stressful. But some people say the gold tiers are also really good and not too stressful as well. Yeah, there's some good stuff there. These alliance quests are very useful because you can get these tier 4 basics, and depending on your alliance you're in, you might even be able to get tier 4 catalyst crystals, tier 2 alphas, and then this glory. Glory is going to be a great place to get some additional items that are going to help you out, whether it's going to be like alliance potions to heal you up, to get the fully formed T4 basics just by purchasing 2 fragment packages, some T1 alphas, T2 alphas, a few other things that are going to be really beneficial with rank up and with just overall champion build. You're not getting any champions from this, but you're getting some things that are going to help you make your champions better. Right, and see, there's quite a bit. Go through, take a look at that, figure out kind of what that looks like. Here's where we normally fall. And we're pretty close to getting that next rank. But yeah, it's not stressful. It's a lot of fun. It can challenge you as well as you're growing, but you do get some good stuff from there. So make sure you're participating in alliance quests when they're available, and they run once a week for about 5 days, and then there's a cool down time, and same thing goes for wars. Wars usually last about 2 full days, and then you can run back to back to back for like 5 days, and then they go into a cooldown for a little bit. So just keep that in mind. So that's what you want to do with your fighting. Again, just kind of looping back the event quests, try to do those every day. Once you have cleared quite a bit of those, you also want to make sure you're doing the story quest. Go 100% Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4 as soon as you can. Act 4 does get a little bit challenging, especially for newer players as you're kind of building and growing and getting great pool. But once you get through it once or maybe twice in Chapter 4, where it gets really difficult, then it's not too easy. Or it's not too easy. It's not too bad. It can be quite easy. There's a lot of good things that you can get, especially for fully completing Act 4 for the first time. Most players are wanting to get to a spot where they can use these rewards, but these are great. You get 4,000 5-star shards, 2 fully formed 4 stars, these 15 generic signature 4-star stones, which are great. An awakening gem, generic awakening gem. All these things are just going to really help you out in moving along and getting those champions built up and ready to move into more difficult and more challenging content. Act 3, 2, and 1 still have some decent rewards for new players, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time to go over those right now. Right, so that's kind of the basics of fighting. One thing I also do highly recommend doing for new players is when you get crystals, don't open them right away. Right, with the exception of like if you don't have any 4 stars, open those 4-star or 5-star crystals when you can get them, because they can be pretty game changing as you're moving along. But other than that, just save these for a little while, build them up, and just kind of decide for yourself on what you want to do. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm not playing quite as much as what I used to, so I don't build up my crystal stash as fast as I did a few months ago and before, but I save up my crystals for a month, right? And then at the beginning of the month, so most of these crystals I've gotten have come since December 1st, with the exception of these hero crystals. Right, all of these have been working up since November 1st, so I've been saving them for quite a while. I've already opened up all my other ones that don't give me heroes, except for my daily crystals. So I'm just kind of stashing these now for January 1st. But you can see that I've saved up 3 fully formed 3-star hero crystals, which they gave me extra 4-star shards. That's nice. 39 premium hero crystals, which I'm going to get 40 here after I complete the next tier or the next milestone in the arena. Right, so I have quite a bit there. Save these free crystals for a while, because even the regular, so the non-uncollected ones, you can get some potions, some revives, some gold, and some energy refills, which are going to be really helpful. But if you save those until the point that you run into some really difficult content where you find yourself dying quite a bit in the fights, then you can save those up and then use them at that time, so you don't have to spend a bunch of units to get stuff. Right, so save those until you need them. Again, I usually open them, depending on kind of what's going on, anywhere between 30 and 60. And you get them every 4 hours. You have to log in and claim them, so it's not actually every 4 hours, but they're available once every 4 hours. Make sure you get your daily crystals every day. While you're still growing and you're not uncollected, they're okay. You can get possibly a 3-star hero from those, but you can get options for some units, some low-level crystals. Again, you get some heroes. Kabam actually recently reworked the the free and the daily crystals and what you get. So check out their forums and look for those. They've got a pretty good detail of what you get based on what tier you are, how far you've moved along. So keep that in mind when you're looking at that, and even check out other YouTubers who've gone into quite a bit more detail about that. I can't refer you to anyone specific, but there are some people out there that have gone into that, some details when they made those changes. Right, and you'll see, again, I've just kind of saved these up for the next month. And then one thing you do want to do is, when you are still growing, is buy this Alliance crystal every day. It only costs 1,000 loyalty, which isn't too bad. You can get those just by helping out your Alliance members. Through the Alliance page, you'll get 1,000 basically every day if everybody's fairly active. So you can buy those, and you can see here just on that roll that you're going to get some decent stuff. I would say buy those every day until you get to level 60. Mostly you're looking for those 50% XP boosts, 40% XP boosts. Again, mostly you're going to be looking at getting 2 and 3-star Unstoppable Colossus, and you might be able to get a 4-star. I've never pulled one. I've stopped buying these quite a while ago, except during certain Alliance events here. But you also do get some signature stones, and sometimes you'll get some ISO as well. So it's not terrible. It's not great, but it might help you out along, because you do get a 3-star and a 2-star hero pretty regularly. You can max out their signature ability fairly quickly, right, just by doing that once a day. And then the arena crystals, until you get uncollected, you won't see those. Your arena crystals you can get, similar to the Alliance. You're going to get this Punisher. You're going to get some units. Maybe you'll get an energy refill, but you're more than likely going to get some gold. Right, but it's still really good. It costs about 20,000 to get 10, and in 100,000 battle chips, you're going to still get a good stash of rewards. Maybe 1 or 2 3-star Punishers, and some energy refill you might see once every million or so. battleships. They don't come around very often. The units in gold are really what I go for when I do that. From these crystals, I've never pulled a 4-star Punisher. I had to do that from my uncollected crystals, which cost quite a bit more, 100,000 just for 10 of them. So, but I like them. They give a higher amount. Right, so they're good still. And then you'll see with these signature stones, what they do, they're going to increase the champion's special abilities once they've been unlocked. Save those up. Try to use those just on great characters. You don't necessarily want to be throwing them into everybody. I'll be honest, when I first started duping my 4-star champions, I just was like, oh, I have these stones that I can put into somebody and I can increase their ability, and like, oh, that's going to be good. And I actually used a bunch of 4-star stones on the Spider Gwen. If you don't know how disappointing it is that I don't have those stones anymore because I put them in Spider Gwen, someday you'll know. She's really terrible. She's desperately in need of a rework. Let's see if Kabam does anything with the new Spider-Verse movie coming out. I really hope so because she needs redone. But at the very least, though, if I pull her again in a crystal, I get a max signature ability crystal, which gives me more 5-star shards and maybe a special 4-star Iron Fist, which is cool. But you want to save those and try to put them into just the best of the best, right? Seaton Man of Legends does a great video about who the best champions are each month. Check him out because he's going to help you in deciding whether or not you should spend your hard-earned stuff on, say, awakening a Star-Lord, who is a fantastic champion, or on a Moon Knight, who is not so much. Right. So you're going to have him and Seaton, that is, and other people out there. They do their champion list, who they think is really good, who you should be looking for, who you should spend your hard-earned gold, ISO, and catalyst on to rank up, things like that. So you're not spending stuff on, say, a Spider-Gwen. Learn from my mistakes, y'all. And especially the 5-star shards too, or 5-star signature stones, because 5 stars are hard to come by until you really get going and you spend a lot of time in here. But you can see I've only got 3 of them awakened, and it's like I've put in some signature stones into my Storm and into my King Groot, and I don't really regret it, at least right now. But I know that someday I'm going to dupe my Venom, or I'm going to dupe an Iron Man, or Iron Man, Iceman, totally different, totally worth duping. Iceman, or say like a Sabretooth, or I'm going to really want those stones to put into him, and I won't have them because I've already used them. Hindsight is 20/20. It is what it is, but again, learn from my mistake. Don't just throw those signature stones into whomever, because they're hard to come by for those 5-star stones especially. Right. Yeah, so then just going back to the crystals here, the reasons why I save these is it's a lot more fun to open 100 Premium Hero Crystal Shards. Crystals, right? And I am going to be going live again tomorrow to actually open all these champion crystals, and I'll have over 100 PHCs, which is kind of fun, and it's gonna be a good time. I think I'm not going to spend them all out, so if anybody is concerned about that, I'm not spending them out. I'm popping them. That's too many. Ain't nobody got time for that. Right now, I'm gonna pop open all these 3-star hero crystals, which I'm excited about, just getting those 4-star shards. And this is what's going to be a lot of fun, right? I'm going to have anywhere between 12 and 13 4-star hero crystals to open, and then 2 5-star heroes, which my last set of 5-star pulls, I got a Hyperion, which was fantastic. I got a Falcon, and I got a Colossus. that was not fun. If not for the Hyperion, I may have even given up at that time. And these Grandmaster crystals, which I get every day, a couple shards for being uncollected, which is cool. They give anywhere between a 3 and a 5-star hero, and I've only ever gotten 3 stars, but at least it's more 4-star shards. Which actually goes on to my next point, is you never ever want to sell any champion, right? And the reason is because any champion of 2 or higher stars, when you duplicate them, you're going to get more shards of the next tier. So anytime that I pull a 2-star, I get 3-star shards, right? So something like 55 3-star shards, which leads to more 3-star heroes. Now, the more 3-star heroes that I get, the more that I awaken, which oddly enough, there are some 3-stars that I don't have, and even like this Electro that I don't have awakened. I don't have a awakening gem for science for 3-stars, which is really weird. In RNG, so yeah, but when you dupe your 3-stars, you're going to start getting more 4-star shards, and the more 4-star shards you get, the more 4-star heroes you get. The more 4-star heroes you dupe them, you get 5-star shards, you get more 5-star heroes, right? And it just kind of builds up over time. But once you reach the max signature level of any champion, you're going to then also get the max signature ability crystals. See here, the max signature for 4 stars and less is going to be 99. Once you hit that level and you get a duplicate of that champion, you get another crystal, which, and if it's a 3-star, more than likely you're going to get more 4-star shards, which is a good thing. But they also do have a few extra rewards, like an awakening gem, I think, and a signature Iron Fist, the Immortal Iron Fist they call him. I don't have one yet, but I'm working on it. So if you don't sell these champions, then you have that time where you continue building those things up, and you get those signatures, the signature ability level up, right? And then once you're at that level 99, you're just going to keep getting more and more. 3-star signature stones, just quick rewind there. Put those into basically whomever as you get them and as you awaken them, because when you go on, you're just going to get more and more 3-star shards, more and more 3-star heroes. And so it's not really as important whether or not you put in, your stones into, say, like a Spider-Gwen or into a Medusa, who is a top-level champ. It doesn't really matter, just because you're going to keep getting those and you're going to build them up pretty quickly. Right, and especially never, ever sell a 4-star hero under any circumstances. Again, I haven't even sold my Spider-Gwen, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't tempted to at least a time or two. Right, so I've got all these, most of these. I do have awakened. Quite a few I still don't, that I'm hopeful to get awakened soon. Might actually do something with, but my best champs still I have at a pretty good point, and even 1 or 2 is at level 99. This one I'm glad I actually put those stones in, because he's actually beneficial at high signature level, and again, he's not a Spider-Gwen. He is pretty useful there. So yeah, never sell your champions, because you're going to get so much more benefit out of them as you go along. Even if it's tempting, or if you're sitting at like 1,950 4-star hero shards and you just want the next 4-star, don't sell that 3-star to get it. Just be patient. You'll start getting those 4-star shards as you go along, right? Just open up another 3-star hero, get a dupe. There you go. Problem solved. You don't have to sell nobody. All right, and then, with your champions, again, as you first are getting started, your first 4-star, you're going to probably rank up pretty quickly to rank 2, level 20. It doesn't really matter, but once you start getting some 4-stars, you don't just want to get everybody to rank 4. In my very first account, my second 4-star was a Hulkbuster, who sucks. And he was my first rank 4 star because I didn't know any better. I looked at his health, I looked at his attack, and I'm like, oh, that's a high number. Like, okay, let's put more stuff into him. And it's like I wasted resources that I could have at least put into, say, like a Captain America World War II, who was my very first 4-star, who was so much better than a Hulkbuster, but I didn't know, the difference in kind of what was going on there. So, and that's why it's really important to kind of figure out not only who some of the best champions are by looking at other people that have kind of been there, that throw out their rankings. Seaton, Man of Legends, is one of the best for me personally because he does a good job of explaining why he rates people so highly, champions so highly, right? But you also want to figure out kind of what style of fighting works for you because, again, most of these champs, like if you get a Blade, right, or a Killmonger or a Stark Spidey, like it's hard to argue against them being good because they're such great champions. But then, like, what if you get into the more mid-level? I know that Rich the Man, YouTuber here, really likes his King Groot. And King Groot is okay to fight with. He's not the best, but he's not terrible, I don't think. But that's a style of play where other people say, keep that King Groot away from me. He's going to ride my bench for the rest of time. Other people are going to be like, hey, I really like him. So there are going to be some preferences, but try to find out from other people who the best champions are so that you know who to spend your time, effort, and resources in. Right? Because it's no fun spending those resources on a Spider-Gwen and wishing you had those T3 or T4 basics back so you could put them into somebody else to rank up instead. Right, and then make sure also that you're logging in every day. You're getting these daily logins. These rewards sometimes are really good. Sometimes they're meh. But they have, Kabam has recently been on a string where they're giving you a fully formed T4 basic and this T4 class catalyst crystal. Now it's a 1 in 6 chance to get the one that you want for whatever champion you're ranking up, but it's still, all you got to do is log in to get that. Like, you don't have to complete any hard content. And then the last couple of months they've thrown in a few extra 5-star hero shards, whereas before, I think like October, they would end at day 28, and then that was it. And for like 2 or 3 days, depending on whatever month it was, you didn't get anything else. Now they've been filling in those extra days with 5-star shards, which is nice. I'm uncollected, so I can't show you what it looks like for people who are not uncollected, but the concept is still the same as with your 7-day or 14-day calendar. You're going to get some crystal shards. Once you're uncollected, you start getting these Grandmaster crystal shards. You need 2,000 to fully form a crystal, and you get it over the course of 2 weeks. So I get a Grandmaster crystal twice a month, effectively. It gets me anywhere between a 3 and a 5-star hero. I do know that for the non-uncollected players, you're going to get 2,000 premium hero crystal shards once a week. So 4 premium hero crystals just simply by logging in, right? And that's a 2% chance every time you're going to get a 4-star, or like a 16% chance or 13% chance or whatever to get a 3-star. More than likely you'll get a 2-star, but if you build those up and save those, you're just going to increase your chance of getting 4-star heroes, which is great. And again, gold is one of the big resources you're going to be using for ranking up your champions, which is why it's really important to just not waste it on anybody. So save that gold up as well, just kind of as a way to make sure when you do pull a champion like, say, an Iron Man Infinity War or a Stark Spider-Man, that you have the gold necessary to be able to take them up to a high rank and start using them right away, rather than holding on to them, being upset that you just don't have any gold to do anything. Like right now, if I pull like a Ghost Rider or a Void or a Sabretooth as in my 5-star heroes, which is what I'm really hoping for, I should be able to take them up pretty easily to rank 3 based on what I have gold-wise. But if I didn't save that gold, if I wasn't ready for it, then I'd get this great champion, and I just couldn't do anything with him. I really hope that Kabam does make some changes to the availability to get gold, right? Because for some reason it can be really difficult to come by. Let's see, what else is helpful? Never ever spend units on crystals, right? They're a terrible investment. You're going to use those in so many other ways, revives, potions as you go through more difficult content, but then also you're going to be getting the stony cores and then the carbonadium cores necessary to unlock masteries, right? And here, if you spend almost 900 units on 3 crystals, more than likely you're going to get a 3-star hero. I don't want to spend 300 units to get a 3-star hero. Now, that assumes you're uncollected because you don't get that Grandmaster Crystal sample bundle unless you're uncollected, but then it gets even worse for the regular sample bundle. You're more than likely going to get a 2-star hero, right? And you're spending 425 units. That's more than 100 units per hero. And if you spend it on, now if you get 3 4-stars, that's not so bad, but you're probably not going to get that, right? You can see here the cost of getting any of these revives and health potions. These are going to be really beneficial. I tried to complete the champion challenge recently, the hardest path, which is insanely challenging, and I'm definitely not good enough to do it yet. I got through 4 of the paths, and I was working on the 5th to 6th path. I'd already spent over 1,000 units on revives and health potions, and I could not beat it. Oh, I so wanted to. And that really sucked. And now I'm down to 123. I mean, I'll get them back eventually, but, that's why you save those health potions and revives, because you're going to spend a lot of units on them if you don't otherwise. Right? I'll try to complete this later this month. I'm going to work on beating that, but this one's the challenge for a reason, right? So, hey guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate anybody who is out here tonight listening to me ramble on about some things that I've learned, and hopefully I've been able to teach you some stuff as well. Please leave any comments or questions here, and maybe I'll be able to address something later on. Be looking for some additional videos to come out to kind of go more into depth about masteries, and maybe some guides about going through those event quests coming up as well. Again, tomorrow evening I'll be doing that crystal opening, so hope to see y'all there. Have a good one, guys.